Well, today began with opening statements previewing what we can expect in this case. In this case, it stayed out of a courtroom for nearly 35 years because of a lack of evidence. But last year, the GBI received new evidence, and it was enough for prosecutors finally to charge two men with Timothy Coggins' murder. Frankie Gebhardt, he is the first to stand trial on those murder charges. In its opening statement, the prosecution detailed Coggins' 30-plus injuries, stab wounds to his chest and back, lacerations from being dragged behind a truck. The state says the murder took place 10 years before DNA evidence, and over 34 years, a good amount of the evidence was lost, a burden the state will need to overcome. Before his murder, Coggins was seen arguing with defendant Frankie Gebhardt, and the prosecution says since then, Gebhardt has told several people about the murder.
You see, this man makes admissions over the last 34 years and knows details about the crime scene that were never released. You'll hear that. Multiple people, he tells. You'll hear that he's not ashamed.
And during its opening statement, Gebhardt's attorneys asked the jury to pay close attention to each person who will testify in this case, including a convicted felon named Christopher Vaughn. The state called him as a witness this afternoon. Gebhardt supposedly discussed the murder with Vaughn on multiple occasions, and Vaughn did not immediately come forward to police.
Ma'am, I'm going to order you in the county jail for 20 days. I will reconsider this after your testimony is complete, but I cannot. I have to.
And what we heard right there, that was right after the opening statements. The judge addressed a witness, Brandy Abercrombie. She is the daughter of Bill Moore Sr. He's the second man charged in this murder. She was sequestered. She was supposed to stay outside of the courtroom, not listen to any testimony, so it wouldn't taint in any way her own testimony. But she was found by a bailiff actually watching a live stream of what was happening inside the courtroom. She was called into the courtroom after a bailiff found her, and the judge sent her to jail for 20 days and held her in contempt. Reporting in Spalding County tonight, I'm Joe Henke, 11 Alive News.